Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Edwin Del Santos came out and broke some pretty big news. He announced that his next fight is going to be for a title shot against Keyshawn Davis. The fight is supposed to be June 7th. Guys, Keyshawn Davis, he continues to take on the toughest competition. His last two fights was against Dennis Berinchyk and Gustavo Lemos. Gustavo Lemos, he damn near beat Richardson Hitchens. And Dennis Berinchyk, he beat Emmanuel Navarrete. Keyshawn Davis, he knocks them both out with ease. And now he's going to fight against Edwin Del Santos, a fighter that no one wants to fight. Shakur Stevenson himself admitted that that was his most difficult fight of his professional career. You know, in my last video that I did, I reported what Oscar De La Hoya said about his fighter, Virgil Ortiz. He said that he wants Virgil Ortiz to take an easier fight in his very next fight because his last two fights have been tough fights. His fight against Boachak and his fight against Israel Madrimov. Now, if you guys just look at the contrast between Keyshawn Davis and Virgil Ortiz, this perfectly illustrates the levels that exist in the sport of boxing. Keyshawn Davis, he only has 13 professional fights. At the time Virgil Ortiz had 13 fights, he wasn't close to fighting for a title shot. When I broke the news that Virgil Ortiz was going to take an easier fight in his very next fight, in the comment section, surprisingly, every single Mexican fan and every other non-black fan, they all supported the move. The reason why I say surprisingly is because these are the same fans that criticized Floyd Mayweather for fighting Andre Berto in his very last fight, and that was after Floyd Mayweather had just beat Manny Pacquiao. At the time Floyd Mayweather beat Manny Pacquiao, Pacquiao was considered number 2 pound for pound, the best fighter in the world on all of old media's pound for pound lists. But when it comes to Virgil Ortiz, these are the type of comments that I had in my comment section. Let me read one of the comments right here. This guy, he posted this. He just had 2 tough fights against top guys at 154. He deserves a cherry pick. Even Crawford probably won't fight Bakram. Guy is dangerous as fuck. End quote. For those of you guys who don't know who Bakram is, that's Murtazaliev, the IBF champion who just recently knocked out Tim Tszyu. What this guy just basically said in microcosm is Virgil Ortiz is avoiding this guy Murtazaliev because he is so dangerous. And then just to try to justify Virgil Ortiz avoiding him, he says, well, you know, Crawford probably would avoid him as well. As if Crawford is not taking a more dangerous fight at 168 against Canelo Alvarez. But the fact that so many fans are defending Virgil Ortiz for openly basically admitting that he wants to take an easier fight, and these fans would never do this for a black American fighter, just further proves that black boxers are set at a much higher standard. And that's because they are so gifted and have been so dominant in the sport of boxing since the inception. Which is the reason why, once again, Keyshawn Davis, he just took 2 tough fights back to back, just like Virgil Ortiz did, and yet he's about to take a 3rd tough fight. You see, the whole purpose of professional boxers starting their professional career with lesser opposition and gradually increasing the level of opposition is to prepare the fighter for when they do step up and start to fight the best. But once you start to fight the best, you're not supposed to regress. At least not if you truly believe that you're the best in that weight class or in the world, because that's what your previous fights was supposed to prepare you for. Now, the only times it would make sense to not be willing to fight the best is if maybe, let's say, you're coming off of a loss. So now your confidence is a little bit shooken. You're not as confident as you were before. So maybe you need a confidence booster. And once again, I'm only talking about fighters at the highest level, like Virgil Ortiz, like Keyshawn Davis. Matter of fact, because Keyshawn Davis actually has less pro experience than Virgil Ortiz, he has more of an excuse to be looking for easier fights than Virgil Ortiz does. And let's get even more realistic. If Virgil Ortiz had to fight the likes of an Edwin Del Santos, a Dennis Berinchyk, a Gustavo Lemos, there's a very good chance he wouldn't even beat all three of those guys. I mean, let's not forget he struggled against Boachak and got knocked down by him multiple times. This just goes to show you guys the levels that exist. When Oscar said that he wants Ortiz to take an easier fight, Oscar is not stupid. He's been in the ring before. He was one of the best fighters in the world at one point. So what Oscar is basically telling us is he knows that Vergil Ortiz is a limited fighter, and he's going to try to make as much money out of him as he can before he puts him in the ring with the best guy and Ortiz loses. If Oscar was promoting Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, a Terrence Crawford, you would never hear him say these things because Oscar himself would have the confidence that his fighter can beat anybody out there. But he knows when it comes to Ortiz, he has to hold his hand. Now, this is not to suggest that Ortiz, he has no chance against the best guys at 154, because he definitely has a chance. But Ortiz and his promoter, they just are aware of the flaws that Ortiz has, and they know how difficult it would be to get in a ring with someone like a Murder Zaliev when you make as many mistakes as an Ortiz makes. So when Oscar and these fans say, yeah, Ortiz, he should take an easier fight. He did have 2 tough fights. They're not saying that because they're saying that he should take more time to prepare for a Murder Zaliev fight. They don't want to see him get in the ring with a Murder Zaliev at all because they don't feel that he can win. Because taking an easier fight is not going to prepare you for a tougher fight. All that's going to do is allow you to make more money before you end up losing. Which is a part of the sport, by the way. Losing is a part of the sport. Now, of course, that's with the exception of TBE himself, Floyd Mayweather, or even an Andre Ward. But outside of them, most fighters are going to lose before they retire. But having the confidence that you're the best and daring to be great is what separates the greats from the ordinary fighters. And there's no doubt that Keyshawn Davis is daring to be great with 13 professional fights. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to LODkey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.